Welcome back to another review on Whiskey and Washers. I'm your host, Ryan, and I love bourbon. I'm going to prove it to you tonight by drinking. Oh, one of my absolute favorites. Let's see what we got here. There you go. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, 11 years, 5 months. We got, let's see, barrel number B523. Oh, 124.3 proof, man. I love Elijah 12 year. And this is considered their 12 year, even though it's a few months short. So I've had quite a few bottles of these, and it's one of my absolute favorites. And I can't wait to do a review on it for y'all. So every batch is going to be a little different on these, and you'll notice. God, there was a B524, I think. Maybe the batch before this that was, oh my goodness. It was amazing. It was amazing. So I'm expecting very good things from this if I can get the dumb thing opened. But I didn't open it prior because I want to make sure everybody knows this is a brand new bottle. And I am so excited. I am so excited. So we're going to let this breathe for just a quick second. So Elijah Craig does their own stuff. This is a Heaven Hill product. And it is, if you're a bourbon lover and you love the big, bold flavor, dude, I'm telling you, this one is fantastic. So I'm going to get a real big nose out of it. So how I do that, if you can see, we're going to cover it, spin it a little bit. Oh my, I can't wait. Yep. So let's go. Oh, my very first sip of the night, and it is wonderful. So it's kind of an interesting late burn going down. Oh man, it's attacking my taste buds. I love it. I love that just overpowering, just get everything going in the mouth. The taste buds, the tongue, my salivatory glands are already going a little bit. That first sip's always going to be a little potent. But man, does it calm down just super nicely afterwards. Let's get that second sip. God, and it's not as bold as I remember it. God, the second sip, super smooth going down now. Still getting those taste buds just excited, man. 124.3 proof, or 0.2, I'm sorry. 124.2 proof. So the proof is going to be high. You really need to know you're going to like this before you buy it. I mean, it's going to be, I think, up at Sam's. We have this. I work at Sam's Liquor and Smoke Shop in Baser. Come up and see me. We have a great bourbon selection. I think we run this around 90-ish. I can't quite remember. We don't get a ton of it in, so it might be 84 or 89, but in my opinion, this is worth the money on this type of bottle. I absolutely love it. So it's definitely calmed down. I mean, look at the legs on this sucker too. Just from a couple drinks, can you see that? Oh my goodness. And usually that coincides with your proof, if you can see it at all. So the more legs you're going to have on it, the longer lasting legs you see on it, typically means your proof is going to be higher. And it just sticks to the glass, and I absolutely, oh, it's so good. Oh yeah. Now the flavor's really coming through. Like it's a high vanilla caramel for me. If you want to Google it, if you want to see your taste profile, what I'm going to do right now is kind of give you some ideas. If you've never tried this before, I'm going to give you some ideas of what it kind of compares to in terms of flavor, taste. That way, let's say you like, oh man, how does this compare to stuff? I mean, it's so bold. So they're at Elijah Craig is 78 corn, 12% malted barley, 10% rye is going to be their mash bill. Which means even at this high proof, there's not a big rye content in it. So you don't get that super spicy, even though it's a high content. Oh, it's just. Oh, and it's a long lasting finish. I mean, that's going to stay with you a while. So what is this? What's this bottle? If you've never tried Elijah Craig, this is going to be their 12-year barrel proof. What else could I recommend that tastes like this? Oh, and it is unique. It is unique. So let's think of some high proof stuff. Like, how about Wild Turkey Rare Breed? So it's not as bold as the Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Proofs are going to be very similar. Rare Breed comes in at 116.8. But Wild Turkey's going to use a lot higher rye content in their mash bill. So it's going to be spicier, even than the higher proof Elijah Craig. But if you do enjoy that spice from that Rare Breed, this is worth. God, this is an extra $30. It is more expensive, but it is delightful. What other high proofs come around? Knob Creek single barrel, it's not going to be like that. That comes in around 120. Again, so that's a bean product, and it always seems a little spicier than a little bolder than the proof actually shows. The 100, oh, I love their single barrel too. It's delightful. If you like that, this is going to be similar proof, similar pop on the mouth, a little less on the burn going down. I feel like more flavors actually pop out of the Elijah Craig than the Knob Creek. Your Baker's 7-year, that's another bean product that comes in at 107. It's not going to be very similar to that. I don't even know why I brought it up. My apologies. Redwood Empire's got some cast strengths out. It's definitely going to be more bold than the Redwood Empires. Those are made in California. They're usually typically a little softer. Your climate is so. What's the best way to put it? Is not highs and super lows. Kentucky, you're going to get up to 100 degrees. You're also going to get down to probably 0 degrees, and you want that fluctuation, get all that juice getting into that oak in the barrels. So the redwoods aren't as bold. So I'd say if you like Wild Turkey Rare Breed, give this a shot. What else have I had lately? Oh, Remus. So Remus got a single barrel out. I did a review on that. MGP does that. So it's a higher rye as well. So it's going to be a little bit bolder at a lower proof. But God, that one came in at like 108 proof, man, and it bites you a little bit heavier than 108 proof. I'll be honest, and it was really nice. Again, a lot of your higher proofs. It's interesting. As I'm talking about this, they seem to have a higher rye content. Your like Baker's even has a higher rye than Elijah Craig, Knob Creek, Wild Turkey. God, I'll have to think about it a little bit more. But as you sip on it, God, your taste buds are ready to go, and it's calming down, and the flavor still pops so tremendously. It's one of my absolute favorites. It would be my go-to if it was cheaper and it was available more often. I'm here in Kansas, and we don't see a whole lot of this come through. The barrel picks are going to be similar. They're going to be, what do those come in at? So if you see a store barrel pick, I think they're 10-year, give or take. They're going to be barrel proof as well. They're going to be nice. Same mash bill. It's not going to be like a Maker's barrel is going to be unique almost every store you go to, because you get to pick your own staves that go into it. It's a fun process. We're going to get a barrel pick of Maker's at our store in about 2-3 months. We're middle of December right now. They're looking at February maybe when our juice is going to be done. So speaking of makers, makers got their cast strength. We also have their 46 cast strength. They're coming in at 110 ish typically, and so the Maker's 46 cast is delicious, man. It's a little softer in terms of they're going to do the French oak just like your regular 46. The difference is they're not going to cut it down to 94 proof, I believe. And those are delicious too. They in Kansas we only get them once a year. I do have some on the shelf. Again, that's going to be a little softer. To that French oak is going to knock some of that bite out. Now, Maker's just your normal Maker's cast strength. If you like that, man, Elijah Craig. Got to try that Elijah Craig too. Differences between your mash bills, Elijah Craig Maker's. Maker's going to use wheat instead of the barley to calm down your spice. Kind of counteract your rye, counteract a little bit of the corn, depending on what corn you're using. I definitely would recommend this. This is going to be about 20-ish more dollars than the Maker's cast strength, and it's worth every penny. Oh my goodness. I definitely think this is better than the Maker's cast. Who else does some good cast strengths? Let me know if you can think of some, because I'm pulling some blanks on it. Honestly, I'm trying to think of something from Heaven Hill that may be a cast strength besides Elijah Craig. Evan Williams doesn't have one. Your McKenna 10-year, Heaven Hill 7-year, those come in bottle of bonded, so 100 proof on those. And those are going to be, that would be a good comparison. Now, I do enjoy this way more than I enjoy Henry McKenna 10-year. I'll be real honest. They're going to be similar in price. Actually, McKenna's come down lately. So McKenna's going to run you about $65, $70. This is going to run you about $85, $90. But that is worth it to me. Oh, man. And I always, as a bourbon lover and bourbon drinker for quite a while, fortunately or unfortunately, depends how you look at it. I look at it as fortunately. My second glass is always the one, at least for me, and everybody's a little bit different, but that second glass is always the one where I'm really going to know if I'm going to enjoy a bottle throughout the entire bottle. First glass, it can be deceiving. There's some bottles where the first glass I'm like, oh, this is really, really good, man. Everything I like about a bourbon is in this glass. I pour my second one, your palate's ready. It's not as spicy, and the flavors really come through at that point. And then what happens, I'm like, the flavors aren't as good coming together after that second glass, because instead of a spice, you get all those notes that the master distillers want you to get. And sometimes it comes through and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to pour myself one more and really give you a good grade on this, because I'm going to grade it. I'm not going to get through my whole second glass, but what I have found is, so this second glass, oh, and it's such a long-lasting. God, I love the long-lasting bourbons, man. That long finish is just so delicious. So this is when I usually know, and there's been some. I got bottles over here you just can't quite see, and I'm looking. I'm like, oh, I did enjoy the first glass of that. Second glass, not so much. And I don't know if there's a science or a reason. Like, what I've learned is, and I regurgitate a lot of things. I've been to distilleries. I've talked to master distillers. And so I just regurgitate what they've told me, because they're the experts. I'm just a freaking bourbon lover, and maybe a little bit too much. All right. Oh, it's fantastic. Second glass, first sip. It's just I can't recommend this highly enough. This is one of my has always been one of my favorites from the first time I've tried it to what you're watching me do tonight. And it pops good. It's long lasting. The flavors really come through. You're not just getting an alcohol burning sensation. You're not just getting a huge burn going down the esophagus. It's blended together nice. It's high on proof, but low on, how do you want to describe this? The flavor outdoes the proof. Oh, that's a good way to put it. The flavor outdoes the proof. And the flavor pops so good. So, as Ryan Herman, a man who loves bourbon, what do I rate this? This has got to be on everybody's go-to. If you're a bourbon lover, if you enjoy a high proof but easy drinking, just a flavor attacking bourbon, this is your bourbon. Yeah, and that second glass is as good as the first. And I'm gonna have one more. I might even have one more after that. I can't wait. So what am I gonna rate this? So on a 100-point scale, I mean, this has got this. This is one of my absolute favorites. I've got to give it a 94. So it's not quite an A plus. I've had better, but bang for your buck, it's good. Like you're gonna find $80 bottles you're not gonna really enjoy. This one is one of my absolute favorites. For under 100, I mean, this is. God, I wish I could drink it every day. I'll be honest. I'm that guy. It's so good. So I'm gonna give it a 94. I have had better, but again, this one is not as hard to find as some of the ones that everybody looks for. And if you see a store pick of this, I always grab them and I always enjoy them. So that's where I'm at. Elijah Craig, they're 12-year. I've got 11-year, 5 months. So they did pull it a little bit early. But that was a smart decision because it's delightful. So a 94 for the Elijah Craig barrel proof. I love it. 12-year. One of my absolute favorites. And I appreciate you watching me. My name is Ryan Herman, and I love bourbon. Thanks for watching Whiskey Washers. Hey, we'll see you soon.